Tonight, President Trump will announce who he's picked to fill the vacancy on the Supreme Court. Sources tell CBS News that two judges, Thomas Hardiman and Neil Gorsuch, are the top names being considered. Both are conservative, but both have very different backgrounds. Eric Citron, who writes for SCOTUSblog and once served as a clerk under Justices Sandra Day O'Connor and Elena Kagan, joins us now from Washington for more. And again, Eric, we do appreciate the time. Our Jane Crawford is reporting that the frontrunner is Neil Gorsuch. What makes him, if nothing else, the likely name we hear tonight?
Well, I think Judge Gorsuch is, in many ways, an ideal or very middle-of-the-road nominee for any Republican president. He has sterling legal credentials. He was a scholar at Oxford. He went to Harvard Law School. He was a senior member of the Bush administration in the Justice Department, and he's voted reliably conservatively since being appointed to the 10th Circuit. He's also just recognized as one of the best legal writers on the bench now, and as a very thoughtful and insightful judge. And on some high-profile cases about religion, the Hobby Lobby and Little Sisters of the Poor cases, which were about the contraception mandate in Obamacare, he consistently voted for the challengers against the law, which I think will ingratiate him with religious conservatives. So he has a lot going for him, and he is certainly the kind of person you would expect any Republican president to be looking at for the Supreme Court.
Certainly, if you look at the parallels between him and late Justice Antonin Scalia as well, that certainly seems to also play in his favor here, as well as something you mentioned, that for a president that we know has a central casting quality to his choices, that he would certainly seem to like the cut of his conservative jib here.
That's right. I think he sort of can't miss. The Judge Gorsuch is someone who would be very hard to object to because he is such a qualified candidate, such a smart judge, such a well-recognized judge, and someone you would frankly expect a Republican president to appoint. And so it's a safe swing of the bat for the president.
Meanwhile, we've heard of Thomas Hardiman, the other name that sits atop a list that seems now of two, that in terms of objection, that perhaps, if nothing else, because of his blue-collar background, he might be harder for Democrats to oppose.
Well, that's right. Judge Hardiman, while he has actually a somewhat similar judicial style, he's sort of soft-spoken, a very down-to-earth guy to Judge Gorsuch. He comes from a very different background. He was the first person in his family to attend college. He went to Notre Dame and then Georgetown Law School, a couple of Jesuit law schools. So he'd be one of the few, maybe the only non-Ivy League justice on the Supreme Court. And he likewise has been a very reliable conservative vote. He also has, the endorsement of the president's sister, who is also a judge on the Third Circuit. And one of the few things we do know about President Trump's decision-making processes is that he has his people who he trusts, and his sister is clearly one of them. And so I think there is a real chance that President Trump will be looking at Hardiman as well.
Eric Citron from Washington there, we do very much appreciate your insight.
Thanks very much.